Hey, what's going on, my friend? What's going on, my friend? My friend, Money Man, my friend. That's
Yes,
my
sir,
guy
man.
right there, y'all.
So honored to have you on this live doing this interview with the Hype Magazine. You are a living legend for everything you do for our city. We're going to get into, but to get started, can you tell the fans and listeners who you are and where you from,
Yes,
fam?
sir. My name is DJ Geno, aka Geno Shelton, aka Marietta's baby boy, aka the Chicago Kid, aka 4848 South State Street, aka the Kalamazoo King, baby. I am here live on the Stop Beef Radio on live with my main man Money Matt. We doing it real big right here, right now, y'all. Pull up somebody pull up. Where my
Yes,
friends at?
sir.
DJ Carlos Mayberry Mix, where you at, buddy? Where you at? I'm gonna shout everybody out on this thing. Dorothy Wade, we gonna shout all of them out. We gonna shout everybody out while we doing this interview. Scott Banks, shout out to Scott Banks, 202. No doubts.
Now, what made you decide you wanted to become a promoter and get into the music industry in the first place?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, my father, which I didn't even know this until later in my life, after I got to be an adult. My father actually was a promoter.
Okay.
I was born in Chicago, raised in Michigan, but I grew up. I've lived most of my life here in Indianapolis. I've been here since 1985, 37, 38 years now, and so I call Indy my home. 317 is where is what I rep. So, but I started, I really actually started back, when I was a kid, in high school. We used to do these parties back in the day. That's back when high schools actually used to have parties,
Yeah.
You have to have
Yeah.
high school dances and stuff. They don't even do that no more, I don't think. But you used to have high school dances and stuff. And so I did that and kind of promoted and helped with that. And then later on in life got in college radio, and then from college radio to, national radio and national radio to indie radio to WTLC. And then from WTLC, I was on the radio one day and said, you know what, man, these guys bringing all these shows. I can do what they're doing because I listen to them just like Money Matt. You got people making requests, on the radio station. You know what people want. You know what people
Yep.
ask you for it. So you just gotta take that skill and you parlay it into the promoting game, and and the rest is what it is.
Now, was it a hard transition for you to go from radio to moving into being a
No,
promoter?
not at all. It's all entertainment. It's all music. It's
Okay.
all I've like I said, I've been DJing and doing parties since college. So it's I was doing college parties. Basically a lot of the guys in my business that some of them started out in doing parties. Whether it's high school or college or not even college. It's just events and stuff, that type of thing. And you go from the parties until you transition into to shows. It wasn't really that hard at all for me. But again, it's kind of like God has gave me the gift because it's something that it was already instilled in me.
Yep.
Kind of instilled in my kids as well. So so we just it wasn't really that tough of a transition at all, and I had a lot of support. I've been pretty blessed in the city. So.
Yeah, that's dope. Now, with you getting started, like you said, WTLC, legendary station for us in Indianapolis. How did you get into radio in the first place? Like, did you have a relationship or a friend that got you in, or was it something else that got you involved?
No, shouts out to Mr. Fox, shouts out to Karen, shouts out to DB. Yeah, no, the I started in college, so I used to listen to radio when I was a kid in high school, and I used to, like we lived in Michigan. I was born in the hood of Chicago in the projects, but we later moved to Michigan, and in Michigan, we lived on a small pig farm. A lot of people don't know that, but I actually came from a farm. And
Okay.
so I used to
Yeah.
listen to the radio all the time. I used to listen to like sometimes, in Michigan and Southwest Michigan, you could get like the Chicago station. So I used to listen to NOV and BMX and GCI and all the Chicago radio stations. And, I said, I really, I was kind of interested in it. So in college, I took communication. I majored in communications and went to Western Michigan University. And I got, like I said, I started broadcasting, and so I started radio in college, and went from college to radio in Kalamazoo, and from Kalamazoo, that's when I ended up getting the job at WTLC.
That's dope. Now, what was the first party you put together yourself? Do you remember what it was? Was it?
That's a good question. I mean, I have to go back to when I was 16 years old in high school when I did the dance. It's so funny because back then we didn't really have the turntables,
Yeah.
the DJs and the mixers and stuff back in the 70s, and so we put everything. We put all the songs on a reel to reel. We
Yep.
had like a record player and a reel to reel. We put all the songs back to back to back on a reel to reel. But the first party I ever promoted that I remember was in college back in 1978. I did a party in my dormitory in Western Michigan University, and I
Okay.
billed it as I was going to perform Rapper's Delight. So I had all the kids in the other dorms all over because I used to be the college DJ as well. So I DJed all the college parties at the college stuff. So they all came to my party in the dormitory. It was nothing going on that weekend, and it was jam packed. And they came to hear me perform Rapper's Delight. Actually, I didn't actually know all the words to it. I only know like the first like probably 30, 40 seconds of it, but they still came anyway, so it was all good.
That's dope. Now, you're a legend out here. Shout out to you and Amp Harris for what you have done for Indianapolis. You guys put on all the shows, you bring all the celebrities, and give us all a major opportunity. How does it feel for you to see how far our city has come? Like from those beginning days to now, where we're at with the stuff we're doing in the city and all the different people getting these dope looks right
Yeah,
now.
I think that man. I mean, when I first moved here in '85, man, the only thing that I noticed that people really look forward to was Black Expo and Circle City Classic.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of concerts back in the '80s that came through Indianapolis. I know that it's really weird though because before I got here, there were a bunch of shows, and
Yeah.
then when I got here, like the mid '80s, it just kind of dried up. It wasn't that many shows at all. Maybe like I said, Black Expo, Circle City Classic, and you may get one or two shows in them while at Market Square Arena, but it wasn't a lot of shows that stopped in Indianapolis in the late
Yeah.
'80s, and then it
Yeah.
started to pick up. With Black Expos. I started doing the Black Expo concerts in 1999. Charles Williams
Yep.
hired me because he saw what I was doing locally, in the Walker Theater, some of the other Murat Theater, some of the other shows. He said, "Man, I want you to start promoting for us for Black Expo," and that's who really got my start. Got my start in national concert promoting. Was shout out to Indiana Black Expo because without Reverend Charles Williams believing in me, he saw what I was doing in the local scene. I was making a little bit of noise. He said, "Man, we want you to take over the Indiana Black Expo shows in 1999." And my first big show with Black Expo was at the fairgrounds, and the Isley Brothers, Jeffrey Osborne, Tina Marie, The Emotions, and Brick. I'll never forget that show. But that was my first big show for Black Expo. I did a big show out at the Coliseum back when the Coliseum was still standing. So.
That's amazing. Shout out to Charles Williams. Rest in peace. He was a mentor of mine as well. Like people don't realize how humble he was, how great of a person he was, and how many opportunities he presented different people in the city. Now you have been a part of some major shows. Like anybody out there. What was the first time you put on a show with the celebrity? That you already had a relationship with. Like you said, you've been in the game for a long time. You become friends with
Yeah.
people. So what was the first time you were actually doing a show with one of your friends?
The first show, you know what? It's funny about me. And again, you have these relationships.
Yeah.
And a lot of promoters are different than me. I really, I'm more of the common guy person, people person. So most of the people I knew them, but I was never really friends with them because I'm a little different than most promoters. A lot of guys, man, especially in the back in the days, their big things was, and even still to this day, man, they want to hang with the stars. So
Yep.
they'll go and when they pick the stars up, they'll want to hang with them and they'll smoke with them and they'll be in the limo with them. Now it used to be a limo, now it's the SUV. Hang with the SUV. They want to hang at the hotel. Man, I really don't do any of that stuff. Matter of fact, if I don't feel like they're inviting me, then I don't really push myself on them. I'm really, really different. My wife used to get on me about that because I rarely will take a picture with an artist.
Yep.
It has to be a scenario where I felt like they're okay with it. Most guys that I know, man, and it ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? You spend that money, you spend that cheddar, you get them to do shows, and you try to build relationships, and that's cool. I mean, that's really what you should do, and I should be better about it. But that's never been my expertise. My expertise has always been, I'm going to do a quality show, and I'm
Yeah.
going to treat you with the utmost professionalism. And if you want to be down, you want me to be down, then cool. Again, it's funny because sometimes the artists used to get mad at me because I wouldn't ask to take pictures with them. They
Yeah.
well, why does the promoter didn't? I was like, man, because I don't invade that space. If I feel like you want me to, then I'm going to do it. But to answer your question, the first show, to be honest with you, the first show that I remember, I did a show, the first show, they weren't friends of mine. It was a scenario where I was playing their record. I was in Michigan, and I was playing their record. It was a group called the Dream Boys. They were kind of like a takeoff of Prince, the Prince group.
Okay. Yeah.
They were Dream Boys out of Detroit, and I was playing the record. They were appreciating the fact that I played the record. So they came and they hosted my talent show. They were judges my talent show that I had in Kalamazoo. And the funny story about that talent show, that's the reason why I moved to Indianapolis.
Oh
I
wow.
did this this big talent show with a group called the Dream Boys. And they came, and if the show was sold out, State Theater sold out. Nobody had really ever done that in Kalamazoo. Sold out. I was the only. I was on the air, and I had like a little show that was from 7 to midnight, and that was the only time you could hear black music in Kalamazoo was from 7 to midnight at a station called WKMI in Kalamazoo, the AM station. And so everybody that was black and even other than black used to listen to the show. So I had this talent show, sold out. And so we brought the Dream Boys on. Girls are screaming crazy because they kind of look like Prince, real cute boys, whatever. And they said, well, let's bring on the guy who brought this to Kalamazoo. We're going to bring him on stage, Geno Shelton. And so he brought me on stage, and the crowd booed me. Booed me, just booed. And I didn't understand, at the time, I did not understand why, I got booed. I got booed, boo. And and that hurt. That really hurt. And that's the reason why I left. When that happened, the acting understand. They say, well, why? Guys, this guy brought brought us here, and you guys a sold out show, and he's doing all this for you. And why did why are you guys booing him? The act was like shocked,
Yeah.
And I was really shocked, And I said to myself, well, since they don't appreciate me in Kalamazoo, I left. And it's funny because they never really recouped from that. When I left, and not to be putting anything on me, whatever like that, but I passed the mantle on to one of my mentees to start doing it, and it lasted about 6 months. And after that, the R&B music went away. It was years after that for Kalamazoo to ever recoup and be able to do like parties and concerts and shows. It just kind of like stopped. When I left there, after 6 months stopped. And so I moved to Indianapolis, and then that's when I started doing what I do here. And so I was really careful, man, because I didn't know why they booed me. To this day, I don't understand why, other than the fact that I was the only game in town. Back then, there was no social media. There was none of that. There was no MTV or all that. Man, none of that back in the early 80s. MTV had just came into play. There was no BET. So everyone that was black or loved urban music listened to me.
Yeah.
And so I guess they felt like, I don't know, maybe I was, maybe there was an arrogance about me, or there was the fact that I was untouchable. To this day, I wish somebody would explain why they resented, it was the younger generation too. The older people loved me, in Kalamazoo. It was that younger generation that didn't like me, and I never understood why. So, but that's,
and I can comment on that a little bit, because I think people don't understand you because like you're such a big figure. You're the promoter. You bring everybody here. You're so connected to all the celebrities. So people are thinking you're arrogant or all that stuff. But I can speak for yourself. You helped me out very on in my career, and I don't know if you know that, but Alpha Live gave me your phone number to call you when we were doing Beauty and the Beats, my first show I ever did, and you gave me so much free game.
I remember that. I remember Beauty and the Beast. I remember that. Yeah, I learned from that. God, has blessed me to know that, man, again, there's still people that dislike me. There's still people that, and again, hey, man, that's your prerogative, But I've learned from listening to Kalamazoo that 90% of the time, not all the time, but 90% of the time, if someone asks for help and I really truly think that they're serious about what they want to do, then I'm going to help. And a lot of times that helps for free. And a lot of times there are a lot of people that will tell you in Indianapolis that's gotten help from me that, I've never asked for anything. I've never said it. Never talked about it, and so that way, I figure, that probably will keep me from getting booed from off stage, trying to be a blessing to people. But again, I'm no saint, man. There's people who, like in the entertainment business that, that's not gonna like you, and I'm gonna tell you, I really, I appreciated you, because man, you just, you don't get a lot, especially when it comes to hip hop. There's not a lot of humility, there's not a lot of humbleness, man. And I just, you guys like yourself and Top Speed and Alpha and Ready Rock and B Swift, man, I really, really, if they asked me to do anything, and I wouldn't have to, I would ask for a nickel, I would do it in a heartbeat because, man, I just really appreciate you guys, your humility, because I just don't see that much of it. Because, man, there's so many guys that I can name. I put on, man, so many guys I put on that turn around and they will bite you as soon as they got a little bit of juice.
Yeah,
Just go and
yeah,
bite you and talk about you and like, oh man, well you don't do enough and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I mean, at what point do I have to keep on doing for you when you don't? You need to do for yourself.
yeah.
So.
I
Um,
can comment on that because one of the major accomplishments we had this year for Stop Beefing Radio is when you nominated us for recognition for Hip Hop Turns 50, and then I seen everybody in the city was like mad that they didn't get picked. I'm like, yo, he picks people based on a group of
yeah.
individuals, and why are we mad you didn't get picked? Look at the people he did pick. Like, you can't always get your shine.
I was like, it was, man, it was funny. It was like I said, bittersweet because, I really, and I'm sure you want to probably talk about the show, but in Hip Hop Turns 50, man, I really wanted to do something for the hip hop artists, man, that inspired me that in this city. People like BMW and 10th Street Posse, the
Yeah,
Welcher brothers and the stuff that they did, the producing. There were a lot of guys that were producers that I forgot about that
yeah,
should have been down. I mean, there were, and when you start, it's funny how when you do something like that, the people you forget. I was like, oh shucks, I should have said something about this person. I should have said something about that person. Because
yeah,
and there was a lot of guys that were producers that I forgot about. There were DJs that I forgot about. I said, oh man, I forgot this DJ and that DJ. So there and it was not that it was not like a clique. It was not like malice. It was just, man, there were so many guys that were
yeah,
instrumental, man, in the 70s, 80s. You're not going to remember everybody. From Don Don to Gus to JF to Top Speed to Ready Rocks to DJ King, and just so many guys that I could have
yeah,
named. Carlos Mayberry Mix, Carlos J, DJ Black. Like I said, you don't remember every single name,
yeah,
and it kind of hurt me because, again, I didn't do it on purpose. I just didn't remember every
yeah,
single person. And I
yeah,
counted on guys like yourself and Lucky and Ladina and
yeah,
some of the other people that got nominated to Trees, and to say, hey, man, am I missing anybody? Am I missing anybody? Lucky, am I missing anybody? Shout out to Sid Johnson. Also, we
yep. Uncle
doing a
James,
big
yeah,
show this weekend with Gladys Knight. But yeah, man, there was so many people that I forgot to mention. And Paul Thomas, who did a lot of stuff with a lot of the groups back
yeah,
in the day, but people just get so mad when you don't remember them.
yeah.
And so
Well,
I'm like, hey, man,
I think it's because you're such a legend that it's a major honor to be recognized by you. Like, yes, it was cool you were going to bring Rakim and all these legends, but you could do this without any of that.
yeah.
Like DJ Geno showing love to our legends, that would be a bigger show in my eyes for our city than
Well,
bringing all
it's
these
gonna.
legends
It's
because we
funny
want.
that you say that, Matt, because I did. I'm going to tell you something on your show that no one knows about. I
Okay.
mean, absolutely no one in my wife doesn't even know yet. But I had a meeting with the fairgrounds, and they
Yes.
want to get some of the acts from the show and put at the fair for free. So that way, the money that I spent and the money that was lost
Yeah.
in putting that together, at least now there may be a possibility. It's not confirmed. Don't start calling me saying, guy, when, I don't know
When
yet.
is it
It ain't for
coming? Yeah.
sure. But we're in a negotiation now, and they're looking at bringing one of the national acts. And I told them the only way that I would do that with them, the only way that I would do is that all of the artists that were supposed to be on the Hip Hop Turn 50, the local artists, the local legends, get to perform. Because
Amazing.
if I was able to,
Yeah.
if you guys allow me to do that, then I will work with you and bring one of the national acts. So that way, because I know the acts were, they really. I mean, even though you're right, we could have did it on our own, but I know those acts were really looking forward to opening for.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it was they weren't going to open. I was
Yeah.
going to put them at halftime. They were
Yep.
going to be at the middle of the show at halftime, so that I made sure that people are going to be there and see them. So now, if this does happen, they'll be able to perform. Because it was only going to be a 2-minute segment. If this does happen at the fairgrounds, then and again, just stand by. Like I
Yep.
said, you will be the first to know, Matt, Money Matt, so that you can put it out there. because I want
Yeah.
you involved. We still want to be able to honor all those people we were going to honor. I want to be able to do what I wanted to do, but this way it's great because they're talking about doing it like on a Thursday, which is like a free night, with like free with a AAA or free a $3 night or something like really stupid low, so
Yeah,
that
yeah. So people
everybody,
can come
there's
out.
no
Yeah.
excuse. Y'all can all come. There's, everybody can be involved, and I don't have to worry about how many tickets are sold and this and that and the whole 9 yards. So I mean, again, I'm talking about all this. It's not done yet. We're still, like I said, I had the meeting on Wednesday, yesterday with the fairgrounds, and they're interested. But I told them one of my only stipulations is I do not want to do it if I cannot put the legends with the show. So we'll find out what happens. Like I said, we'll let you know, and you'll let your listeners know, and we can make that happen. But it would be really dope to have at the fair. Really dope to have.
I definitely love that, man. I believe God puts people put timing is everything. I've always had this vision of an event called Napstock, where we bring all our Naptown artists
Wow.
together and do like a big festival.
Wow.
So, I could definitely see that being dope. Do people understand all the risk and all the stuff you go through to put on these shows? Like you're putting up bread, you're booking these venues, you're making these promises, and then sometimes it don't work. Like, do they understand how hard it is for you to do this stuff?
I mean, and again, I try not to, God has, allowed me to be able to do what I do. And, in 37 years, Matt, 37 years, I've only kept, this is the second show in 37 years I ever canceled. It's unprecedented. Nobody in the industry, it's almost like if Geno, the agents that I deal with, and I deal all the top agencies, CAA, United, you name the agency, I've dealt with them.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, they'll, if Geno's booking the show's going to happen. They don't, it's not even a worry, because, because, I do dates with Live Nation. I do dates with AEG. I do dates, I've worked with the black promoters, so, I've been blessed to be able to, God has allowed and blessed me to be able to do that. So when I do a show, I take, this show, when I had to pull it down, I mean, the hurt that I had, the pain that I had, because, people will say, a lot of people, and we'll break it down, I'll allow them, you guys can, I'll know, and you'll know, and this is the only time I'm going to share this. I'm not going to share it on I thought about doing it on Facebook and explaining and breaking it down, but I'm not doing it. You can call your friends right now, because I'm going to break down exactly what happened with this show at Hip Hop Turn 50. You're going to get it right here, right now. The problem and the thing that happened with that show is that in the Kill All Just Matt, there were people in Japan. There was a guy in Japan that was coming to the show.
Yeah.
There was a guy in New Mexico. There's a lady that cussed out the fairgrounds from Georgia, cussed them out because the show wasn't happening. And the God honest truth, and I could, and if anybody wanted to see the post, I could show them. The ticket count the week before the show, there's 6,000 seats. We only sold 651 tickets. Half of those tickets were from out of town.
Yeah.
And
facts.
And again, I'm not mad at Indy. I'm not, again, because, and I explained, and I knew it. I was like, there's 14 other shows that's going on in the market. There's never been this many concerts in Indy in the history that I've lived in 37 years I've lived here. And that's 14 shows between now and September 5th.
Right.
And I listed them, from Janet Jackson to the AWB show to 50 Cent to LL Cool J to TLC and In Vogue to the Casey and JoJo and SWV to Little Baby to Lil Yachty to Dirk to
so much.
14. I didn't name them all. Those were 14 major shows that are happening between now and September 5th. It was just so many shows. It got to a point where it's just that people weren't buying the tickets. And you say, well, you just should have waited. They would have came. But the problem is the show cost, and I don't mind sharing that. The show cost over $280,000.
Yeah, for all those names. Yep.
In the box office, the week before the show, there was only $70,000. Had the show happened that day, you were looking at a $210,000 loss. Now, I've done shows for years. I'm not rich.
Yeah.
So thus, there are investors that are involved in these shows, and they're looking at a $210,000 loss the week before the show. They're like, well, Geno, and again, we would be willing to take a loss. I was willing to take the loss, but when you're looking at a $210,000 loss the week before the show, you can, it's just not there.
It's hard to explain it. Yeah.
And and
Yeah.
and the thing is that you say, well, man, you just should have waited. Well, the week of the show, the week before the show, I did wait, and we were only selling like 16 and 17 tickets a day. A
Yeah.
day. When I did when I did Jeezy, and praise God, man, I did Jeezy, which it was so funny because the promoters, it was the same investors for that show. I did Jeezy, Lil Big Boogie, and Finesse, and when I did that show, that show grossed
Yeah.
$430,000.
Yeah.
Four
Facts.
hundred
Yep.
and 30. I mean, Live Nation didn't believe it. Live Nation Urban didn't believe it. People from all over the country were trying to book shows in Indianapolis because a lot of people don't realize that Ticketmaster actually, it's like public knowledge. They will
Yep.
put that out in Polestar, and it's public. You can pull up anybody's concert and find out what that show grossed. Well,
Yep.
when everyone found out with that show back in February, that's when everybody, I mean, the shows got, I mean, everybody in the month, like, if he could gross $400,000 for Jeezy, and keep in mind, guys, when I say I grossed $400,000, that didn't mean I made $400,000. It means the
No,
show
your
grossed
team.
that.
Yeah.
The show grossed that, and actually, the investor actually made the bulk of that money. I made good money on the show, but I didn't make, I didn't get rich. But when you make that kind of money, when you sell, we sold over 4,000 tickets to the show, 4,300 tickets. When you do that with a Jeezy, who by himself is not doing that anywhere, people are like, wait, there was like a wake up call. Matter of fact, I hear Jeezy's coming back with
Yep.
Boosie in about a month. But I mean, it was like
Shout
a
out to
wake up
Scooty.
call. It's like Indianapolis is like, man, we got to do a show in Indianapolis. So long story short, when that happened and the show didn't sell, and it was selling so slowly, we had absolutely no choice but to pull the show. And man, you talk about, again, I've only canceled one show in my life. This was number 2. And to do it, man, I mean, I just believed in the show. I mean, these are the architects: Rakim, MC Light, Big Daddy Kane, Cool Mo D, EPMD, Rob Bass, Sugar Hill, Kwame, Greg Nice, Moni Love, Dana Dane. I mean, dude, I mean, again, like I said, half of his tickets were sold outside of the city. But you can't get mad, man, because Indy they're not used to it. I mean, they're not used to having that many choices, man.
I know a lot of people in our city always complain that we bring Boosie, G's. Like, we have a select few of artists that come through all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Scooty and my team, my people that do that. It's because we know they're gonna turn out for it. Like, we have certain people, and I want to highlight
likes
one
what
other
they
thing
like.
for
We
you.
like what we like, man. We like what we like. And
you mentioned 50 Cent. I remember you did 50 Cent's first concert. Like, you were one of the first people to give 50 Cent a show in Indianapolis.
Live Nation, it was actually a Live Nation show, but they hired me to promote and help do the show. And I think Amp was involved as well with helping promoting the show. But yeah, man, I mean, and it's funny because, and that's another thing that, because, you would stop beefing, you deal with a lot of the hip hop. If anybody ever notices about me, I don't do a lot of hip hop artists. And I don't do a lot of the new ones because I just, because it was for years I wouldn't do it. The Jeezy show was one of the first shows that I did in years. I didn't do it for years because it just was so much violence involved in it that I just got away from it. But when rap started kind of getting away from the super, with trap rap, it was different than the gangster rap. Gangster rap was straight up, it was straight up beef, straight up beef. With trap, it was more like money and drugs and chicks. And so, and really, when the original rap back in the day was about girls and money and having fun.
Having fun.
You just, it was just having fun, money, girls, whatever. And so trap kind of, even though it was a drug related part of it, it kind of got back to the more of the just silliness of we just gonna have, we just gonna brag, and we're gonna talk about our cars, we're gonna talk about our money. And it kind of like, I was like, okay, well, I can kind of, some of this, some of it I'm not gonna promote. Some guys like the Lil Uzi Yachty guy, he ain't ever gonna get a gig from me. He's great, does what he does. He ain't gonna get no gig from me because I'm not down with what he's down for, I mean,
Yeah,
some of the stuff that
yeah,
he's down for. So I'm not, but just, like Boogie was, I really liked him, even though, he could be questionable. But it was funny because, he was talking about fun, crazy, silly, hip hop. And it got, it was some gang stuff related as well. Finesse, with his beef with what you call it in them, I mean, mob ties, whatever he's down with.
yeah,
So some of it I fool with, some of it I won't, because as a Christian, I
yeah,
draw the line sometimes on some of the guys, and some of the guys, man, I just draw the line, man, dude. I'm not mad at you if that's what you do.
yeah.
That's your business. It's your lyrics, your business. But I'm only going to go so far with it.
Yeah.
So,
I,
but
I
yeah,
love that. I love that about you too, because I'm a Christian too, and it's so nice to know that we have people like you out here that's standing on principles like that. Like I'm with you with the Uzi Vert. I love I loved him until what I found out the song was really talking about. Like I
yeah,
can't do it. Like
yeah.
but I'm not shining looking
No,
down on
no.
it. I'm just saying
I
it's
mean,
just
no,
not
man.
for
You
me.
do it's your thing. It's your, I mean, I'm never going to judge anybody, man. I'm not going to judge anybody for what they, especially when it comes to music and your art. I'm not going to judge you. You whatever you do, that's what you do, man. And God bless you, man. I'm, do what you do. But it's we you have a choice. We have choices, and there's some stuff I'm going to support. Some stuff I'm really not going to support. I'm not going to hate on you. I'm not going to dog you. I'm not going to judge you. But I'm just, just not. That's not for me. That's not my
Now,
thing. So
speaking of supporting, I know this weekend's a major situation for you, the Grand Marshal of the Juneteenth parade. Like, how does it feel to know that the city is, wants you to be the Grand Marshal? And are you excited or nervous about it?
I'm not nervous at all.
Okay. Yeah.
Not at all. It's. I guess I mean, I'm very honored. I'm humbled by it. Because here's the guy that got booed out of Kalamazoo. So to
Yeah.
to get booed out of Kalamazoo to be able to be the Grand Marshal, like, hey, Kalamazoo, that's what you get. Because I would have still been in Kalamazoo. Had
Yep.
I was, but God has a plan, Matt, for you.
Facts.
God has a
Yep.
plan for me. And that
Yep.
was the plan, was to leave. And so yeah, man, Juneteenth is just it's funny about Juneteenth because it's like the Juneteenth, with the Emancipation Proclamation, was in 1862 on New Year's Eve, but a lot of slaves never found out about it until 2 years later. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not funny, but it's just like it's just our country. It's like once again getting the shaft. About it's when it comes to certain things. But I love Juneteenth, maybe because it's about it's black and white and brown. We can all come together and celebrate who
Yep.
we are as a culture, as a people, and
Yep.
it's beautiful, man. And appreciate guys like yourself and Stop Beefing and all the other outlets that are lifting up what we're trying to do here. Oh, shout out to my man Billy Bad. I know he'd have been pissed at me if I did not shout Billy Bad out. Shout out to
Yeah.
Billy Bad, my man. He's also was one of the architects back in the day. Did a lot for him and Paul Thomas
Yeah.
and
Salute,
shout
Paul.
out to Reggie Griffin too, who was going to get honored. He was supposed to get honored this weekend. I really, man, I was so upset about. I mean, the stuff we were going to do, man. A lot of people didn't realize, man. We had Soul and the break dancers were going to do the break dance thing, man, at the show.
Yeah.
We had, Top Speed had worked out some things with graffiti artists we were going to have in the lobby, man. Some of the stuff, we were going to honor, yourselves and Ladina and Leak and Lucky and Trees and all the guys that we were going to honor at the shows at the event as well, man. Just so much. It was more than just a concert.
Yeah.
It was really
Yeah.
going to be more than a concert. So, man, but also quit like the people at the man, quit licking your paws, man. Let's go on to the next show, man. It happens. You got to move
Yeah.
on. It happens
Well,
to the best of us. Do what you got to do. So.
we
Hey,
can speak this into existence then, because you got the expo and the classic. It wouldn't make sense to me to just let them get you a venue. If you get the
yeah,
venue, we'll bring the
yeah,
artists, we'll bring the entertainers,
yeah.
and then we can show it out, because we need something for those events to re-energize the city a little
Yeah,
bit. So it's kind of like a cheat code. You already got people excited.
yeah.
Why not plug it in?
Well, yeah, like I said, again, with the thing that I'm trying to do at the fairgrounds, I really think that's probably going to happen again. I just don't want to say it is until it
Yeah.
does. But
Yeah.
if it does, that people like yourself and all the people that were involved before, I'm going to say, hey, man, they gave me a stage and it's a
Yeah.
free show, And,
Go.
it's going to be, at fairgrounds, that's unlimited as far as the amount of people that could possibly come and see the show now. So now the kids, the little kids, the grown, everybody can come and be a part of it. So hopefully that'll work out. Like I said, I'm praying on it, and it's whatever God has for me, that's what He's got for me.
Another thing I want to highlight for you, I know you're busy, so we're not going to take too much more of your time, but I want to highlight yours and Amp Harris's relationship, because from people looking outside, they might think you guys compete, but from what I understand, you guys are brothers and family, and you guys do stuff, together. How did you guys meet, and what made you guys start collaborating the way you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. The Amp and I met. I mean, I don't know the exact year, but we met through Thomas Griffin, who used to do he used to have his the Amp Harris of the Network, and he used to
Okay.
do the party at the
Yep.
Claver Center back in the
Yep.
day. And I was working at the radio station, and everybody basically came through the radio station. Thomas actually used to work on TLC with me as well, but everybody came through the radio station, and Amp was his DJ, his top DJ and MC, and he ended up starting to promoting and doing stuff on his own, and we kind of connected from the radio station. So that's how that happens. But yeah, it's he's in he's in a different space right now.
Yep.
He's doing I mean, I'm so proud of him. The stuff that he's doing with Stephanie Mills and with Mike Epps
Yes.
and some of the other artists. I mean, he's taken this brand, and he's taken what he's done, and he's taken his gift of relationships and turned it into something great. So I wish him the best, and very proud of all the things he's done. He's still working with the Black Expo. He's put together the show this year for the Black Expo for the free concert, which is El DeBarge, the OJs, Stephanie Mills, and Howard Hughes. Going to be a great show. July 15th at the July 14th rather, the free concert down at Military Park, and then also the white party he's doing, which
Yep.
is with
Capri and Juvenile.
yeah, Juvenile. So that's going to be great, and that's going to be at Gainsbridge rather, which is pretty cool. Because a lot of people don't realize that they can just take the floor and turn that into a big club. So it
Yep.
could be that should be really cool. So shout out to him, and shout out to Black Expo, and it's going to be a great, amazing year this year. They got a new president, Alice Watson, and she's just, she's just, brought a lot of great new energy to the expo, and so we're kind of excited to see what's going to happen this year.
And then speaking about, excited for things this weekend, even though the concert didn't go, we've got Sid, Uncle James is doing, and you are doing the conference. And
he'd kill me if we didn't talk about it. This coming Saturday from 2 to 6. If you like the conversation that Matt and I are having right now, then you might want to come on out and be a part of that this Saturday at Harper's, 56 Guide Road, 2 to 6. Admission's only $7. That's cheap for a music conference. And you've got live performances from David and Sasha and Kelsey and everybody on his roster. He's got national people flying in from all over. So it's going to be great. Some of the acts from the Hip Hop Turn 50 was invited as well. But again, 2 to 6 this Saturday at Harper's. The music, everything you wanted to know about the music industry, why is it oversaturated? So there's got a lot of great guest panelists talking about the music industry. So if you're serious about your craft, you're serious about being in the industry, you're serious about your music, you come on out and be a part of this, because it's going to be a good time.
And then two more questions, and I'll let you get out of here. You mentioned B Swift and Coach Reg, so I want to highlight, you were with them early on in the careers. How satisfying is it to see how far they've taken their careers, and they basically are running the station and all that? Like, how satisfying is it as an OG to see how far they've came?
Yeah, man, Ready Rock and B Swift, man, those guys, man, are just, I thank God for them and their parents, man, because again, it's sometimes, man, when you get in a position especially like with B Swift, when you're doing the radio and you got the Pacers and you got all the things, Ready Rock with the record scenario and the music industry, sometimes you get such a head on you that you can't talk to them anymore. I mean, and that's the one thing that just drives me nuts about my city, man. They get a little bit of juice, of the record get a little bit of play, man, and all of a sudden they're, oh man, we gotta have $5,000. Oh man, we're throwing, dude, stop. Stop. The grind never stops, and that's what those two guys. No grind, no shine. That's that was gonna be my next record if I ever came out with another record. No grind, no shine. And Ready Rock and B Swift, they understand that, man. You stay humble, but you stay on the grind. Stay humble, stay on the grind. Because Indianapolis, really, the overall city hates people that are not humble. They really do. and that's why a lot of times the sports stars don't do really well here, because Indy wants their stars to be humble. They want
Yes.
them. They do not want them to have the big head. They do not want them to act like they're bigger than. That's why they treat out of town people better than they treat their own people. They do
Facts.
not like their local stars to be have the big head. They want them to be humble, and and Ready Rock and B Swift have understood that and mastered it to a point where
Yeah.
it's been a benefit for them. And I'm just so proud of those two guys. And a lot of the guys, I mean, not just those two, man, but there's so many guys that we can name, man, that have been out here grinding, doing their things. Shouts out to my man Butterman and Wano, Norm Ski. I mean, there's so many guys that's in this game that has, that's done so much. And and forgive me if I don't mention your name, because
Nice.
it's again, it's just through the years. It's funny, man. I'm sure you get this too, because you get a person that said, man, I won $105 on the radio that one time, man. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
I
you
won $105.
remember me?
30 years, it was 23 years ago. I won, but to them, that memory they will never forget that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And you, Matt, you touch people as well. There's been somebody that you've touched or said something to, and 10, 15 years down the line, they're going to say, Matt, man, one time, man, you pulled me aside, man, and you told me, man, I was feeling down, man. I was like, I was going to give up, man, because it just wasn't worth it, man. But you told me, man, to keep on going. And, man, that will stay with an individual for the rest of their lives, dude. So you gotta be, you always gotta be careful and be humble with people, man, because you never know who you're going to influence. Mike Epps even once told me, and I swear, I don't remember, but he said that me and F gave him one of his first shots. Dude, I don't remember that to save my life. I don't remember it, but he said I did, so I'm like, yeah, praise God, But man, I don't, like, half the stuff I don't remember. Guy Black, I was talking to him the other day, and there were some people that made it from his talent show. I think was Bro James, came off his talent show. A couple other people came off the Guy Black talent show. You never know who you're going to touch, man, but you gotta just be, it's biblical for me. You treat people the way you want to be treated, man.
Facts.
And
I want to thank Just Jay from the Hype for doing this. She's from Indianapolis. We've got a lot of media that comes from our market. So the last question is, how exciting are you to know that we've got the All-Star game coming next year? What can people expect when they come to Indianapolis? They think we're a bunch of corn-fed people, country people, but it's funny, I know we got some spectacles ready.
It's funny about that, man. And again, I'm a positive guy, man. I try my best. I'm a positive guy, God first in everything and all that I do. But I'm not happy about the All-Star game, because I think that, and again, it's not me. It's not about me. But I just don't think that they've asked all the people that they needed to ask to be involved the way they need to be. People, the grassroots people like yourself and Ladie, there needs, and don't get me wrong, they've got some gangs involved with you. That's my family. I appreciate them. Expos involved. I know that B Swift got some TLC involved. But man, if you really want the All-Star to work, you gotta get it's one thing that I've been doing, man. I've been seeking out these young guys like DJ Young and Stretch, and some of these young guys like yourself, man. I'm trying my best to connect with these young people, gang. Some of the and a bunch of names I can't even name all the names that I know. Woody, my man Woody, Legendary Days, CEO Trill. I mean, I'm trying my best to reach these, and that's what you got to do, man. If you want, because you got to understand, Indianapolis really don't get it. We don't really get it, but there are people in the city that do. And so if you don't connect with them, it's going to come off corny. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be coming off. You're going to have the zip line is going to be the big attraction. Where, it's going to come off kind of corny. So I just think, and shouts out to the Pacers, because, man, they really spent a lot of money trying to make this thing big. And I know they care. But I just would like to see a little bit more of the grassroots individuals, man, because, man, we don't, man, there's going to be billions made, and a lot of people are not going to, a lot of us common, the middle class and poor, lower class are not going to be able to get any of that money, They should be all of the black, the minority caterers, all of the people that are the club owners, they should all be able to get involved in this. There should be meetings. They should be at the meetings, but You know, I mean, and again, patients, did what they think is best, and I really am supportive of them because I know they put their money where their mouth is, and they really have sponsored a lot of events that I even think would never
Yeah.
thought they would sponsor. So they've
Yeah.
done a great job, but I would just like to see more of the common grassroots people involved in All Star. We
Well,
all should get paid.
that's where we're gonna shock them, because all my phone's blowing up from people outside of the market right now. Like they coming. We
Yeah.
don't People in our city don't realize how big this is about to be, but I'm getting calls left and right. So as soon as it gets a little closer, we're gonna put our own events together. If they don't invite us, we're gonna build our own thing right where they're at, and we're gonna bring a 50 Cent. We're gonna bring a major headliner so they come to us, not on some competition thing, but like you said, we got to make sure they understand
You,
what we do in
it's
Indianapolis.
like my man. He's like one of my partners who got me back in the game after I fell off Worm. Worm is down with quality control, quality
Yep.
control crew. Worm should be on the board with
Yep.
them. I mean, those are the guys that they need to be on the board. That's with this All Star. Guys like
Yeah.
my man Worm and some of the other promoters. Little Scooty. I mean, he's
Yeah.
done a
Shout out
lot,
to
man.
Scooty.
That kid, man. I mean, I'm very impressed with his resume, man. But a lot of times they don't understand the street. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they're scared of it. I don't know what it is really sometimes, but you got to be able to. And I think B Swift is trying to help them to understand that. Guys like
Yes.
and Ready Rock and whatever the radio station. But man, I just want to see the common individual get paid, man. Because there's a lot of money to be made. I
It's
know
a
there's
lot.
going to be millionaires that's going to be made after All Star, bro. They were at the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
Super
Facts.
Bowl. There's millionaires to be made. So it's just, I just, man, we can go on and on, you dog. I told you, I said I got to be in bed in 30 minutes, and here it is, like almost an hour. We still talking. I'm doing all
I'm
the
sorry.
talking.
I was trying to keep it short, but
You
it's
try to
such a
get me
great
out, man.
conversation.
My air's out, my air conditioner's out. So I'm mad as all get out. So I got to figure this out because doggone, why the air always want to go out on the hottest day of the year, man? I always want to go out, doggone air out. So I got to figure this out, man. Call my air conditioner man so I can get my air back. So, but shout
Listen,
out to
I'll
all the
text
people
you
that.
after this. I got a guy that does it for the low, so I'll
Yep.
send you his information. He's real dope. Last thing is, any advice you got for up and coming promoters? You mentioned Big Scooty, of course, Ted Hardy, Straight Freak. We
Yeah.
got a lot of young
Oh yeah, man.
promoters that are
I
starting to
also
make
I
some
forgot
noise.
Ted
Any
Hardy's
advice
name.
you got for him?
Yeah, he's gonna kill me if I forget Ted Hardy. A Worm and Butterman and all my other friends, man. I forgot all their names. Shout out to Harper's who's doing it. Shout out to all the clubs, man. That
Yeah.
all these nightclubs out here, All Stars and all the clubs that are Blancas and Javitos and shout out to Paradox and Nevermore. Shout out to Georgia Street. All of them. This. End Zone. Shout out to all of them. I'm Illusions. We can keep on naming, but Ice
Yeah.
and Eddie's. But again, the advice to a promoter. See, it's different for me because I put religion in everything that I do. So I can't.
Yes, you do.
I give you advice, but again, I can't. If you don't, I believe in Christ. I'm a
Yeah.
Christian, straight up Bible Christian. Black Jesus type of individual.
Yeah.
So it's different for me because I believe that God has a plan for me. And it's it's not about color. And I'll tease and say this and that, but it's you know God has a plan for me, and if I
Yeah.
trust God and do right by people,
Yep.
it's really simple, man. All the churches and all that other stuff. A lot of times they get up themselves, they get in the way because at the end of the day, it's only two things you got to
Yeah.
know: if you love God and if you
Yep.
love others. All that
Yep.
other stuff, man, don't mean nothing. What gays and this and that, and man, skip all that. Jesus was about
Yep.
love.
Love.
Jesus was about loving others and loving God. That's it. So if
Yes.
to me, when you do that, the blessings are gonna come. When you're
Facts.
blessing and when you give back, people don't realize the amount of money that I've given back to the community. And I don't talk about it because there's no blessing in talking about it. I don't do it for that. I do it because I know that that's what God wants me to do. But when you give back like that, man, when you give back, and it ain't even about money, just helping somebody,
Yeah.
just talking to somebody. Man, one time I was in Atlanta and it was a homeless guy and I just wanted to do an interview with him. I said, man, I'll give you $20. I just want to talk to you.
Yep.
I gave the guy $20 so I could talk to him. Man, it's just about giving back, man. When you
I
can do
love
that
it.
and do that for folks, and I'm not perfect. I got a whole bunch of mess. There's a whole bunch of people that can say some stuff that I did, because ain't nobody perfect. Jesus was
Right.
the last perfect
Facts.
man. Ain't nobody
Right.
perfect. But at the end
Right.
of the day, if you try your best to love God and love others, man, and to take care of your family, hey, man, that's at the end of this. That's what I tell any promoter, man. Just be the best you can be. Quality. Don't trick nobody. Don't cheat nobody. Be the best. Do the best. Give the best event. Give the biggest event. Do the
Yeah.
best. Represent your city. You represent the 317, man. Make people proud of what you do.
Yeah.
You do that, man. It's all good, man. And like I said, any of you young promoters out there, if you're doing something, if you're making some noise, I'm watching you. If you're making noise, I'm watching you. I'm looking for you.
Yeah.
I'm watching you. I'm working with this guy now. What's his name? What's my man's name? Kurt Hatch.
Okay.
Kurt Hatch. Yeah, Kurt
Yeah,
Hatch.
Kurt.
Me and Kurt Hatch gonna do and I ain't no Kurt Hatch from Adam. But me and Kurt gonna do a show. We're gonna do it. We're gonna bring the college jam back to the old days on the
I
east
like
side.
that.
We're gonna be the world's
are,
college jam back. Because like I
are
said,
you
I've been
doing it?
fooling with these young people, man. I've been trying to fool with these young people because, with the technology that you got, Matt, that technology and our wisdom, if you combine the two, oh man.
Yep. Facts.
Ooh.
Facts. Are you doing anything with Crease?
Oh man,
Creases this
yeah. You know
year.
what? And that's another thing that broke my heart, because we were going to give them all the people the tickets to the show. They were coming to the show because they wanted to see. We were going to show them the architects, so that we were going to connect with them, so that they could see the architect, and that I was going to connect with them at their event. But then the event didn't happen. But yeah, definitely, to answer your question, yeah, I'm definitely going to be down with that. It's really cool because, man, I don't have half those people on the bill I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
But I guess they're supposed to be pretty good people. I guess there's some people saying they should be more locals on there, but I mean, you can't, guys, you can't. If you don't like what somebody else is doing, do your own thing then.
Facts.
Don't be complaining about what
Facts.
they do. If you don't like their show, do your own show, okay?
Well, and
Do your
how
own
can
show.
how can you complain about Crease when this is the anniversary of DJ Indiana Jones passing? So
Yeah.
this is being put together in honor of him. So it took a lot to do it. So why complain when?
Man, I'm 100% with them. Anything they need me to do, drops, whatever, I'm down and will help them. I'm down, whatever they need me to do, help, because that's Jones is, man. That was another one that I should have mentioned. That was my man. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's the
thanks.
good thing. And man, you got a lot of the spirit, man. And that's the beautiful thing about the hip hop, man, is that the color, black, white, brown.
Yep.
If when you're pure with it, man. I can't. You don't see that. You see the love. It ain't nothing but love. When the hip hop is pure, you see nothing but love, man. Nothing but love.
Well, like I said, I know we kept you long. I apologize for that, but I've told you many times, but I'm telling you on live. Anything I can do to help you, Geno. Any shows, any events. If you need media, like my Rolodex is your Rolodex, and anything I can do to help. Because like you said, you've always been about helping people. And that initial conversation you gave me all those years ago led to me being Money Matt with Stop Beef from Radio Today. So, and there's a lot of other people in our city you've done that for. So last thing, any shout outs you want to give for people who either supported you early on or supporting you right now?
Because I mess around, be forgetting people's names. So I'm going to shout my wife out, Allison, shout out my daughters, Aaliyah, Elise, shout out my daughter's dog, Tigger, and my daughter's cat, Kitty. And all my relatives, and anybody, if you ever talked to me, if you know me, or if you ever took a picture with me on Facebook, shout out to all y'all, because all y'all got love for all y'all. But again, don't forget, if you're looking to get more of this information, good solid information about the music industry, come on out to the Sid Johnson. He's got a big thing at Harper's. The music industry oversaturated. Come on out there at Harper's, 2 to 6, $7 admission. We gonna all be there. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna eat some chicken wings and have some fun.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time tonight, and I hope you have a great night,
Yeah, you
man.
too, fam.
Salute.